Is mining still a viable career path? Conversations about mining. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters. And yesterday I did a post that came up with a really good question, and Jacob here has asked a really good question, so I'm going to answer it. So looking about 3 to 4 years out, will these mines still be the ones looking for work in, or will iron ore mines start making their way back? How long do these cycles take, and is it even possible to determine? Yes, it is fairly secular, so you can determine, like with nickel, when we have a look at nickel, you'll be able to see that nickel will probably be back in about 18 months' time when the demand builds up again. It's the same for lithium. Lithium's gone through a bit of a downturn at the moment, so the demand will be back there, and the jobs will be back in those mines in future because they'll still need people for the mines that are mining nickel and lithium, because a lot of them are deep pits and hard rock underground mines where they can't use the automation. The big thing about moving forward with where the jobs are going to be is you've got to look at where the mining companies are using automation and where they can't. And so the big thing is that they can use automation in strip mines in iron ore and the shallow coal mines. They're using it in now. So for a lot of coal and iron ore, everything's being replaced with the driverless trucks. So in 2 to 3 years' time, even if the price does go back up again, there's not going to be a lot of jobs in those areas, and the whole idea of them going to automation was to be able to pay people a lot less. So I've already done this, looked at this article before with Rio and the BBC sending up a person to talk about it all, and yeah, they're replacing everybody, and they're not good jobs that you're being replaced into. They're office jobs, and they're paying office wages, and that's one of the big selling points to these companies with the automation, is that they're saving a lot on wages. So if we have a look at what's going on with gold next, if you just type central banks are buying gold in, you can see that yes, they're buying a lot of gold, and this is where the demand's coming from. And I don't see that the demand for gold, with the way it's going with the monetary system around the world, it's going to slow down anytime soon. I think there's going to be a constant demand for the product, so there's going to be a constant demand for ounces. I definitely think the price is going to vary quite substantially over the next sort of 10 years, but I think the demand's going to be there the whole time. And you just have to look at what's going on with China. They stopped buying gold for 6 months for whatever reason, but they've started buying gold again in November. So they've stopped their pause and they're going again. And there's a whole heap of reasons that you can get into with elections in the US and what's going on around the world with wars and all that sort of stuff that I don't really want to get into on the channel, because YouTube sometimes doesn't really like talking about that sort of stuff. But yeah, as far as your mining job goes in Australia, there's going to be a lot of demand from the gold and copper mines moving forward, because it's the same thing with copper. It's all about everybody getting their grids up to speed with the electricity around the world. So if we're moving into renewables and green energy and all that sort of stuff, everybody's electrical grid needs to be upgraded, and that's going to cost a lot of money, and it's going to need a lot of copper, and that's why the demand's there for copper. So lithium and nickel will pick up. It's not picking up at the moment, but it will. If we come over and have a look at the Nickel West closure, you can see that they've got it on close for since October. Most of the people have already walked straight into jobs with that got let go. But if you have a look in the little AI thing overview down here, it says the investment plans, BHP plans to put $450 million each year aside to support potential restart of the West Australian nickel. So they're putting money aside to fire it back up as soon as the price goes back up. So once the price starts hitting $35,000 a tonne for nickel Australian, that's when they'll probably kick it in the guts again. So your guess is as good as mine how long that's going to take. If things fire back up and China gets going again and the rest of the world starts to pick up in 2025, then it could happen quite quickly. But if it drags out, it could be another 18 months before it fires back up again. It just depends. And the good thing about getting one of the underground jobs, so one of these jobs here, is because they use the same method across the gold and the copper mines and the lithium and the nickel mines. If you've done sort of 18 months in a gold mine and you've worked your way up from truckee to service crew or something like that, and then all these nickel mines start to fire back up again, the demand will still be there in gold, so the gold mines will still need the people, but the nickel mines will need people, so it's a really good way to advance up through the ranks when everything comes back on again. There's so much demand in gold at the moment that it's still a really good time to get in to the underground side of things and advance through, because a lot of people will be able to make a career out of it and move forward. But just as things pick back up again, the demand will pick up, and in 2026 is probably going to be a big year for mining. And there's lots of work around. The easiest way to get into it is learn how it all works. Just have to go over to the Wall of Fame page, which is in our courses column about halfway down. You can see all the people that have gotten jobs. They all write to us and say the same thing. The whole reason I got the job was because I knew how the employer's mind works, and I was able to talk to them about what was going on with it all. It is what it is. If you can talk to them about boggers and trucks and what a long hole stope is and what a heading is and all that sort of wonderful stuff, it just puts you so far ahead of everybody else that's going for these jobs. It's not funny. But really good question. More than happy to answer it, but over the next 2 to 3 years with the outlook, I don't see gold and copper slowing down anytime soon, because there's worldwide demand for it for a number of different reasons. And I also see, as the world picks back up again with everything that's going on around the place, the demand for nickel and lithium will pick back up, and then it'll offer a lot more jobs, and there'll be a lot more opportunity around to move up through the ranks. Even though there is a lot more opportunity, there's a lot of opportunity at the moment. As things go back to a full boom cycle with everything booming, that's when it'll really get hectic, and you'll be able to climb up through the ranks quite quickly. But the best thing is to be in that position where you're already embedded in a mine and you're waiting for the next big boom to happen in everything else, and then that gives you the advantage to take your skills that you've already learnt and use those skills to advance up and punch up into those top jobs. So get yourself onto a bogger or charge up, or even looking to get trained up on a jumbo or a long hole or something like that, and start making the money that you want to. But really good question. Happy to answer it. Like I said in my answer here, I was going to put it into a video because it goes better into a video than just typing out a big long answer. So thanks for the question. And if you've got any more questions about how the industry works, or you'd like any more answers, please send them through. And if you could share this video around and like and subscribe the channel. Thanks.